Weapon Wing by Farron. Chapter 8. Hard Landings. Something long, rough, and wet rasped across Indiana Jones's grizzled face. Fetid breath worked better than smelling as Indy dragged himself back to a world filled with a general delight and seasoned with sharper localized pains. The archaeologist groaned and shoved upward, as he was pushing away the waterlogged weight of the shuffling diamond dog. Indiana! Indiana, okay! Flint yet gleefully. Dr. Jones felt his world sway crazily as the diamond dog pranced with delight. Stay still, you simpleton! You'll capsize us! I'm already wet enough! His Silvertrow's more cultured voice. Abruptly the rocking stopped, and Flint whined apologetically. Groaning with effort, Indiana pushed himself up. His head throbbed, and he could feel a swollen lump on the side of his scalp where he struck the wooden gunwale of the boat. He ignored his headache's insistent pounding and took stock of his surroundings. By some miracle, the three fugitives were still in their ill-fated boat. Stretching considerably further, the little craft seemed to be floating sedately in a quiet eddy somewhere on the same mountain river as before. At least, as far as Indiana could tell. Admittedly, the boat was only floating, in the sense that its keel was not resting on the bottom, with water nearly filling the hull. Its only wooden construction was keeping it buoyant. Human, unicorn, and diamond dog. Only two more and we would have an interesting RPG party. We're all soaked to the bone. Unfortunately, it wasn't too cold yet, but by Indiana's estimation, it would be sunset in a few hours. Indy shivered at the frigid winds he faced the previous night. If he didn't have shelter or at least a fire by sundown, a follow-up visit by the cultists would be the least of his worries. Indiana looked at the silver trowel. The pony archaeologist saw Indiana's glance and anticipated the question. Well, I'm no cartographer, but I estimate we're a bit upstream from Polo's Landing. It's a pony town mostly. We could get lodgings there.
Why,
Indiana asked. He fished his sopping fedora out of the water in the boat and let it drain for a moment before placing it carefully on his head. The hat drooped, looking as battered as his owner felt. Well, I fit it right in, and... For a moment the unicorn trailed off, his head swaying drunkenly. He blinked and charged right up again, wiping one fetlock across his muzzle. For the first time, Indiana noticed small rims of his crescent straining the green fur of the creature's nose. Beg pardon, where was I? The human winced, looking unpleasant.
Trowel? You alright?
That's a side effect of overusing my magic, I fear. No offense to the two of you, Dr. Jones, but you and Flint are not the lightest, nor is the boat. Sir Trowel grimaced, wiped more blood off his muzzle. Let's just say I won't be doing that again anytime soon.
Thanks.
Indiana managed. For all of his apparent thoughtlessness, the pony was a lifesaver, literally. Now, as I was saying, I'll fit right in at Polo's Landing, Dr. Trowel said, making an attempt at cheerfulness despite his obvious weariness. And the ponies there probably see diamond dogs regularly, but a human, I believe you said? No pony's ever seen anything like you, not that I know of at least. You're like a same diamond dog. No offense. Flint cocked his head, one side his brow wrinkling. But no pony's scared of Indiana Inn.
No, makes sense. Travelers are a different breed,
Indiana said. Certainly, if he'd simply been a college professor of archaeology, he would have probably died of a heart attack, only seeing half the things he dealt with in his journeys across the world, and now beyond. Precisely so, Silvertrowel agreed. I propose that Flint and I go to town and secure lodging for us, and a disguise for you. A diamond dog-sized robe should do the trick, as long as no pony looks too closely.
Alright, I'll stay here with the boat. Flint, you head to town with Dr. Trowel. Get me a disguise and meet me back here,
Indiana ordered. He out several gold coins for a swindling supply and placed them in the diamond dog's paw. Flint hesitated noddly, and his claws closing around the coins. But what Indiana do while Flint gone?
Dry off.
Came the succinct supply.
Now come on, let's get out of the water.
It took efforts of both Flint and Indiana, the only members of the crew with apprentices suited to the task and enough energy left to do the job, to hold the boat reasonably close to shore. Thankfully, the water was reasonably shallow, and it wasn't as though they weren't soaked to the bone already. With that task accomplished, Flint's silver trowel started downstream. Casting around the bank, Dr. Jones busied himself collecting some freezingly dry-looking driftwood. Fortunately, the flint and steel in his jacket pocket had managed to survive the recent drop over the falls, and the Indiana soon had a small but adequate fire glowing. He stripped off his waterlogged jacket and boots and laid them on some rocks, letting them drip dry. It wasn't pretty, but it was the best he could do under the circumstances. Indiana settled back, slowly drying in the waning light of the sun, and waxing heated the fire, where he checked over his weapons and gear. With recent events, he was bedraggled as he had ever been. If only his schoolmates from Cloudsdale could see him now. Breezy would probably die from faint anyway, and, pausing mid-reverie, Dr. Jones renewed his path of thoughts. The trail led, as it always so often recently, into Terra Incognita, another foreign yet familiar town. Another strange yet well-remembered name. Closing his eyes, Indiana dug through his memories back to his time in school. He often flipped through atlases and travel journals, dreaming in a day he'd get to go out in the world and... No, that wasn't right. He was sure his father had taken him all across the globe, even from a young age. Well, what about his members of Summer Flight Camp? That had been the... Indy craned his neck and looked over his shoulder. A flight camp of the type he remembered would be impossible to go to without wings. Indiana groaned. The world was doing something to him. He could feel it. There, side by side with his actual memories of schooling and friends, were strange, otherworldly memories. Memories that would pop up when he least expected them. Dr. Jones stared at his hand, wriggling his fingers. Would he wake up one morning and be surprised that it wasn't a hoof attached to a gold-pelted foreleg? So far, the foreign recollections seemed to be distant, to rather than replaces for his real memories, but... The archaeologist shuddered and edged closer to his fire. He had to get out of here, and soon. And in all probability, the first step would have to be getting back the artifact so recently stolen from him by the cultists. Hopefully, Flint and Dr. Trowell would be back soon with Indy's disguise and good news. Flint glanced nervously around the streets of Paul's Landing. Even in the Diamond Dog's wildest dreams, he never imagined there could be so many ponies in one place. Why, there might even be over a dozen in this market alone. Paul's Landing was huge. He'd been walking for 5 minutes at least, and only now see the other side of the town. No, city.
Ah, sir, can I introduce you and... Ah, a diamond dog.
The street vendor, a cream-pelted earth pony with a dun-colored mane, quickly readjusted his sales pitch and shoved a tray of roasted vegetables to one side.
Ahem. May I introduce you in some of these finest fried fish caught by griffins just today?
Flint goggled at the sales pony his wares. Somebody wanted to talk to him?
To sell him something even?
The Diamond Dog's egg started to wag a bit. The pony even called him Sir. Mrs. Doherty K.I.'s staring green eyes.
The vendor shoveled his heads. They might have been caught yesterday. This week at least for sure. A bargain at 2 bits a skewer.
The fish certainly smelled good. Flint wiped a bit of drool off his jowls. His stomach rumbled, reminding him of his non-existent breakfast. Last thing he had to eat in a while was that snake. It hadn't been very tasty. Perhaps. The Diamond Dog looked down at the money in his paw and hesitated. Indiana gave him the strange coins, but they certainly weren't bits.
Ah, Flint's want 2 skewers, but no bits, only had these.
Oh.
The street vendor struggled against the natural urge to grin. His lace customer carefully placed one of the coins on the stall's counter. The species was of foreign make, but looked twice as large as a Bitcoin. By the way it sang as it lighted on the wooden counter, it was unadulterated gold. The earth pony dragged his face into a dour, concerned expression.
Well, that's no good. I really prefer bits. But I suppose I could cut a deal and that's all you have?
A minute later, Flint was grinning ear to floppy ear, richer by 2 skewer fits and poorer by an equal number of Indy's heavy golden coins. He practically inhaled the first fish, chewing eagerly at the scraps remaining on the skewer and sighing in contentment. In the Diamond Dog's estimation, it was easily worth twice what he just paid for.
You're such a savvy business dog.
Flint was just considering returning to the stand and trying his luck for a second pair of fish when he saw it. The massive, orange-furred cat lurked in an alley, obviously waiting for something. Or some pony. The Diamond Dog continued on, by nonchalantly as he could manage. Trying to ignore its way, his hackles rose as he caught the tiger's sharp scent drifting out onto the road. Once past the mouth of the alley, Flint hurried to press himself against the nearest wall and frantically beat his brain into a sparking, sizzling frenzy of activity. The Diamond Dog could distinctly recall what Daring Do had said about big cats like the one in the alley. They were working for whatever the creature's name was. The big blue ape thing. That tiger was here. Did that mean that the avenging Pegasus enemy was close by? Cautiously, Flint peeked around the corner. Something else was approaching the large cat from the opposite end of the alley. It was a pony, but in the dim half-light of the evening, identifying the newcomer was difficult. Leaning out a bit further, Flint took a closer look. Received another shock. So, Ventrell trotted nonchalantly up to the tiger, as if he hadn't had a care in the world. He dipped his head in greeting, and the big cat popped his head in reply, and held out a paw, growling inquisitively.
Of course I got the medallion, you overgrown house pet. Do you have any idea what I had to go through to acquire this thing? Not only did I have to sneak into some strange creature's room, wasting yet another charge on my emergency necklace, but then I had to fend off an attack by those cultists and... Yes, fine!
Horn flaring, Silver Trowel opened his saddlebags and lifted out a cloth-swathed object. Silvery tendrils of magic pulled the fabric to reveal darkness. Tangible, metallic darkness.
There you are, the Medallion of Shadow. Are you happy now? Ahuizotl had best be very, very generous and grateful.
No! Silver Trowel, I liked you! I really did! And you betrayed me! Everybody betrayed me! I'm fed up with this world! The tiger said to the artifact, and slitted at a pouch that looked over its powerfully muscled neck. Tail lasting, the feline growled in somewhat its native tongue. Dr. Trout smiled.
Ah, yes, the thing is Daring Do. I didn't have to deal with her, actually. She seems to have disappeared. Good riddance. But have you ever heard of an Indiana Jones?
The look of mute disdain the tiger gave Silver Trowel told the unicorn all he needed to know. Flying down the erstwhil's eyes, Trowel chuckled. The big cats were so particularly prideful. Honestly, Ahuizotl's feline enforcer had never heard of the human archaeologist. Not that it mattered.
Well, never fear. I have plans to deal with him shortly. Although, if you'd like to help, I'm sure that could be arranged.
Flint's jaw dropped, and he ducked back around the corner. Silver Trowel's working for the enemy? He had to warn Daring Do. No, wait, she was gone. No pony knew where. Well, he had to warn Indiana. But what about the medallion? And the Diamond Dog's furiously turning mind, a plan started to form. Silver Trowel cantered cheerfully out of the alley and turned left. He sent Flint to do some shopping in the area. It had been annoying to fake more fatigue than he felt for so long, so the unicorn felt well rid of the beast. The big dumb mutt was probably still here, wasting Indiana Jones's coins on some frivolous thing or another. Well, neither the Diamond Dog nor his human friend would have to worry about that much longer. The unicorn chuckled darkly. If only they knew. It had simply been too bad that Silver Trowel hadn't been able to let the two foals drop to their deaths in that awful trip over Flying Falls. If only he mastered teleportation spells. Well, even though he had to levitate the entire boat to save himself, it was well worth it. This way he got to see the look of surprise on Indiana's ugly, flat face before the tiger called it into unrecognizability. Speaking of which, where was Flint? Dr. Trowel glanced around the market again. Certainly a big brown diamond dog couldn't be that hard to spot in a town populated mostly by ponies. The unicorn craned his neck to look over some stalls, and went into a tumble of limbs as a breathless, cream-colored earth pony crashed into him. Silver Trowel climbed back into his hooves and glared at the offending stallion.
Goodness, so what is the fuss? Thief! A big brown diamond dog who stood on my fist, the mutt!
The white-eyed stallion grasped.
Have you seen him? He came this way.
Odd, and oddly suspicious. Flint hadn't struck Silver Trowel as a thieving type, for all of his stupidity. Unless, wheeling around, the unicorn raced back the way he had come. When he got there, the alley was empty. Disconcertingly so. Trowel's experience, the tiger was a lazy creature at best. He would lounge around for a bit longer without his master there to keep him on his toes. But instead, the big cat had vanished. A good search of the narrow side street provided worrying clues in the form of broken wooden skewers and the small fragments of fish. The clues formed a trail leading a little ways down the alley. The Trowel followed it, across what must have been a delicious and unexpected snap for the tiger,
led to an enclosed alcove at one side of a narrow pathway. Silver Trial groaned and pressed a hoof to his seemingly achy forehead. Why, oh why was it so hard to find good help these days? The powerful jungle cat laid unconscious in the shadows, stretched out for all the world like a poorly made tiger-skin rug. In its mouth was the last of the fried fish. Around its neck, the pouch containing the Medallion of Shadow was conspicuously absent. With a snarl of rage, Dr. Trowel kicked the tiger back into consciousness. "You mighty fool! Which way did he go?" Flint ran down the street, shifting fluidly onto a frantic two-legged sprint into a more natural four-legged lope as he weaved and dodged through the evening traffic. He jumped right, narrowly avoiding a donkey-air cart. He skidded around a corner, and nearly tripped over an unfortunate trinket vendor stand. The fleeing canine reached a straight section of road and accelerated, vaulting over a surprised Filthy with a surprised cry of "Sorry!" The diamond dog's lungs and muscles were aflame with exertion, but his jowls were still pulled back in the widest grin he ever wore. It worked! It really worked! The stupid cat fallen for it, and now the medallion was his. Much was to say, of course. Indiana's a daring deuce. Obviously, now all he had to do was evade Silver Trowel and the tiger, get back to Indiana Jones in time to warn the human, and rounding another corner, Flint slammed into a solid wall of feathers and fur. The diamond dog whined as razor-sharp talons bit into his shoulders. "Ow! Let Flint go!" The biggest griffin Flint had ever seen glanced down at him and clacked his beak. One of his lightning-fast paws snatched at the climb in the dog's bag and held it high. Target looked up, a voice a raspy croak. "Brother Starfire, is this the one he has chosen?" "Yes, Brother Gustav, and this is his companion," replied an all too familiar stallion. Flint stared in shock as the green-robed, red-pelted Pegasus glided down to land on the cobblestones. How was this possible? But Starfire's wing! "My faith in the Brotherhood of the Snake has made me strong," Starfire replied with a confident smile as he flexed his miraculously healed appendage. "Certainly you are aware of that, concerning you. And since you have to gate of souls as well, it is as we foreseen." Gustav's claws dug deeper into Flint's shoulder, precluding any escape as the griffin used his other paw to open the bag and reveal the darkly gleaming artifact inside. Both cultists hissed and bowed slightly at the sight. Passing his satchel too reverently to Starfire, Gustav asked, "Oh, what shall I do with his companion, brother?" "Why, bring him with us, of course. We'll fire a final test for him, then to leave him with the thief, with his betrayer." The Pegasus took flight, chuckling happily. Carrying his whining, struggling cargo, the griffin soon followed. Well, blast! Down below the street, Silver Trowel groaned. Eager eyes peered skyward, tracking the two cultists until they were no longer visible. It was clear from the trajectory the pair was taking Trowels as prize, and the unfortunate Flint back up to the valley, most likely to the Temple of Shadow. The tiger at Dr. Trowel's side yowled in annoyance. The unicorn turned and glared at the feline, but the gears of his mind were already turning. "All right, you flea-bitten creature, here's what we'll do." Back on the bank of the river, the flickering fire provided the only light in the blackness of a mountain night, still waiting for the moon to crest the craggy outline of Ridgebacks. Clanging his revolver by the flickering orangey glow of the fire, Indiana Jones sucked the absently minded at the fishbone left over from his meal. The river fish hadn't been the worst thing he'd eaten in his travels. Certainly, Dr. Jones spun the pistol cylinder, and not as satisfaction as it turned easily. Clattering a hose on the rocky approach to the riverbank prompted Indiana to reload the newly cleaned revolver as quickly as he could. He crouched behind a rock and readied himself. He eyed slightly when Silver Trowel came into view, but tensed again as he caught sight of the pony's distressed state. The unicorn looked as if he had been ready to run a race with hell itself. Wild, rolling eyes swiveled to spear Indy with a panicked gaze as Trowel cast out, Lay off him!"
"What? Who has who?"
Holstering the pistol, Indiana hurried to steady the unicorn before Silver Trowel collapsed. The pony was shaking, dripping with the sweat of his headlong flight. "The snake cultist!" moaned Silver Trowel. He caught the wheeze for a moment, trying to catch his breath. They growled Flint. He was shouting something I may have misheard. But I think he said he found the Medallion of Shadow.
"Medallion of Shadow!"
Indiana echoed.
unable to keep the surprise out of his voice.
What, found it?
And now the coast is half him. That horrible red Pegasus Starfire. He grabbed poor Flint and flew away. I think they may have been taking him back to the temple. We'll never find him now.
Legs giving away. Silvertrout sat with a thump. His eyes stared pleadingly at Indiana Jones.
I can't even imagine what they must be doing to him.
Indiana's jaws tightened. He's seen enough cults in his day to have a good idea what Flint might be looking forward to at the cultist's hands, or hooves, or claws. In his imagination, the Diamond Dog's sightless eyes stared accusingly at him, who had ordered him out of his abusive but relatively safe job and got him killed.
No.
Indiana said slowly.
I think I have a pretty good idea where they're taking him. First, do you know where we can hire some muscle?
Muscle? Oh, some soldiers of fortune, you mean?
Silverjaw exclaimed.
Yeah, those.
Indiana picked up his jacket. It wasn't dry yet. Good enough. He shrugged it on.
Unicorn nodded with a slight smile. Fortunately, I already anticipated that. 1 moment.
At a shrill whistle from the pony, two dark shapes crept into view. The big French's eyes glittered in the firelight as he started circling human and a unicorn. Indiana's hands went automatically to his whip. First cultist and now this?
Oh, no, Dr. Jones. These are friends.
The unicorn protested. The tiger nodded and seemed to grin. The yellow-eyed panther raised a paw as if to roll a wave. That's when Indiana thought that nothing else in this crazy world would surprise him. He turned to Silver Trowel.
Can they talk too?
Ha ha ha, no. They don't speak equestrian, although they do seem to understand it. But I think you'll find that their accents speak quite loudly enough.
The unicorn replied with a slight smile.
Well, Dr. Trowell, can your friends lead me back to Pennywise's Inn?
Asked Indiana, tugging on one boot. It was dry, nearly. At least it didn't squish as much as it might have. He pulled on the other. It was just as dry, unfortunately.
What? No, but I can't.
Trowell tried to set his host asleep entirely.
Does the vacancy?
Good as new. Whoa! Indiana found himself studying the unicorn again.
You look half dead.
Silver Trout found the strength to nod.
True. Well, being that as mate, you need me, Dr. Jones. I can get you to the inn. You and my friends can do the rest.
Alright. And that's not gonna leave some poor kid to those bastards. We're gonna get Flint back. Or my name's not there. Indiana Jones. Damn it, let's go!
Seeing the fire, Indy turned to go. In the darkness behind him, one predatory grin spread across the three faces. Silver Trowel and the two big cats leered at the human's back. Why did I do that? Why did I do what? Make sure we escape? Richard Brooks asked on another incredulous laugh. I saw the instant panel of the aircraft cut strange shadows across his grinning face as he took a step forward. Daring took a step back. She could feel her feathers ruffling as her wings rose, trying to instinctively make herself seem bigger and more threatening. Despite her body's involuntary efforts, the mare was still less than half the size of the human who loomed over her. Glaring up at the cartographer, Daring demanded,
"Why did you shoot that man? He didn't do anything to us!"
"What? So that's my fault?" Brooks snarled, leaning back to the cockpit as he took another step towards Daring. "Our idiot pilot up here was the one who didn't want to leave. We would have been captured."
"We could have escaped again."
Daring snapped back. Her heart pounded. Her ears were flying against her skull. She looked up at the man who thought she was a friend. The confused heads back, staying out of reach. Elsie was in a narrow corridor between the crates. This far from the cockpit, Brooks was little more than a green-edged silhouette in the darkness. Enough light flared back at their cargo area for Daring Do to see the cartographer's face twist into something between annoyance and anger. "You mean you could have escaped? I still have a black eye from my last run with the Nazis, in case you forgot. Not this time. I got us away. Bang! Problem solved."
Bang! Problem solved?
That was too much. So someone had taken the jumpy, sporadically heroic human Daring Do had come to know, placed him on a monster. Why? Was he first met him at Baghdad and he signed on to help? Daring shook her head. "Not now, stupid memories. Not now."
"Where did you even get that thing? You say you didn't even own a gun."
Professor Brooks hesitated. He had said that, hadn't he? "Oh, yes. I got it off the guard when I was trying to escape the inn. I thought it might come in handy, and it did."
"You thought it might come in handy?"
Daring echoed, thinking of the mother pearl inlaid handle. Suddenly, it seemed aching familiar. Yawning, Daring pushed open the door to the hotel room. It had been a long and fruitless day trolling the dens of the various rumor-mongers in Baghdad. None of her efforts thus far had brought up any signs that the Nazis had actually found a Medallion of Shadow. Maybe the army intelligence men were wrong. Either way, the adventurer couldn't afford to wait any longer when her true goal, the Medallion of Light, lay so far to the east. Darrington casually tossed her fedora onto the bed, and glanced over at her roommate. Coincidentally, the little mapmaker was heading into the same area that Daring was, finding him trying to unsuccessfully find a flight heading east that would have been a stroke of luck.
Hey, Rich, found anything?
Now, look, Brooks said distractedly, still hunts over his desk working on something or the other. The reason why I was going to the Hindu Kush was to make maps of the area. If there was any reliable ones, I wouldn't need to go to the first place.
What, none at all?
Frowning, Danny sauntered over to see the cartographer was laying over so intently. On the wooden surface of the desk lay the pieces of a .38 caliber revolver. The light of the evening glinted off the blued surface of the weapon. The weapon looked dark and professional, save for the sifting riot of colors of the murder of pearl in the pistol's grip.
Very nice, Brooks, but I'm not letting you tag along so you can play cowboy. What do you have for maps?
Richard Brooks looked annoyed. I'm not playing cowboy. This was a gift from my father. Besides, it might come in handy. You never know.
Fine. Just don't put a hole in yourself with it, Daring laughed. Now, or in me. Now, the maps?
I wouldn't. You know what? Fine. Grumbling, the cartographer reassembled his pistol, reloaded it, and stuck it carefully in one pocket. He turned to a stack of books and started to open the first one. Here, this is what I've been able to get. Darrington reeled as the surface from the memory. Brooks still talking, his voice almost angry shout so he could be heard over the aircraft's laboring engines.
Nothing to say now, Daring?
How about, thank you, Brooks, for saving my black and gray tail.
You lied to me.
Hissed Darrington, as he backed up again. The cold breeze blowing through the cracks around the ends of the cargo door did nothing to cool the heat of anger flowing through her.
You lied to me, Brooks.
What? Name one time when I lied to you, Brooks yelled, waving his gun in a gesture of hurt innocence.
You didn't get that pistol off the guard.
Rich, back in Baghdad, you said that it was a gift from your father, Daring growled. Even in the near darkness of the aircraft's cargo compartment, Darrington could see the color drain from the cartographer's face. He seemed to deflate. For a moment, the bases almost felt sorry for him. No, it can't be. Now, as Brooks took a step back, as he stared down at Darrington in wide-eyed horror that quickly turned to rage. The cartographer fumbled in the pocket and drew the revolver again, thumbing the hammer back. I don't believe it. And even with a name like Darrington and that ridiculous pith helmet. I mean, I had my doubts, but still, you almost had me fooled this entire time. Dr. Jones! Darrington blinked.
What are you? You think I'm your friend? Friend?
You're no friend of mine, you freak. Just a comparator, too stupid to know who I really was. I don't know what you did yourself with that weird medallion, but what better proof that it has power than you, the great Indiana Jones, a squeaky-voiced little horse with wings. Ha! Dick gestured with his pistol. Now hoof, over the Medallion of Light, and maybe I'll sell you to a zoo instead of shooting you and having you stuffed and mounted. Darrington leaped, her forehead striking desperately at the human's revolver. Brooks's finger tightened on the trigger, but by the time the thought had become deed, Darrington's swinging leg had already ensured that the pistol was already pointing towards the ceiling. It thundered in the narrow confines of the aircraft, punched a hole in the fuselage. The cartographer was just bringing the pistol down again for another shot, when his hand met Darrington's hoof coming the other way. The weapon spun free from Brooks's suddenly numb grip. Howling in pain, he grabbed for the Pegasus. She started out his way, his arms encompassed only empty air. You won't get away, Darrington! You have nowhere to run. Brooks struck forward, trying to tackle the mare. Instead, he landed heavily on the aluminum grating on the floor. Wheeling around, Darrington gave the human both hoofs to the face. His head jerked back with the force of the blow. He slumped forward and lay still. Brooks? Darrington turned to face the human again, but stayed where she was, panting with exertion. What was he going to do now? He couldn't get the artifact to Camelot, couldn't return home. The cartographer had been the only one who had talked to her also without trying to kill her. Well, until recently. Surging to motion, Richard Brooks lurched forward and made another grab at Darrington. His hand smacked the side of her head. knocking her back a step, and sending her pith helmet sailing into the back of the aircraft. The Medallion of Light went with it, tumbling and clanging metallically against the aluminum grating of the compartment's floor. Daring to tear tail and hurried after the artifact. One hoof scooped up the pith helmet. Another slammed down onto the scary silver disc. And not a moment too soon. Cold wind from the edge of the cargo door whipped out her tail as she picked up the medallion and placed it under her retrieved hat. She started to turn, and then a shadow fell over her, blotting out the warm moonlight that had been streaming in through the aircraft's windows. Brooks tied himself up by the handle of the cargo door, clawing daggers as a little Pegasus pony at his feet. He reached out with a snarl. "I'm going to!" Kicking out with powerful hind legs. Daring to caught the swaying human in the knees. He screamed and tumbled backwards, landing heavily against the aircraft's door. With screams of fatigued metal, the aluminum gave way, and Brooks tumbled backwards into the hungry blackness of the night sky. One flaming hand grasped desperately for a handhold, and found Daring's wind-whipped tail. With a yell of surprise, the pony found herself jerked off her hose, as she was tugged out of the plane by the screaming cartographer's momentum. The icy slipstream slanted the Daring dew like a hammer, leaving her gasping for breath as she tried frantically to right herself, while keeping a tight hold on her helmet and the treasure it contained. She plunged downward, but she didn't do it alone. Mr. Brooks was still there, shrieking in fear and keeping a death grip on the adventurer's tail. Kicking out viciously, Daring managed to free herself from the fleeing human. She tried to angle her body and spread her wings to turn her fall into a glide, but avoiding a painful crash was out of the question. It was already too late to do more than slightly reduce her speed as the dark shape of the mountain rushed up to meet the mare's plummeting body. Brooks landed first, his screams cutting off abruptly a heartbeat before the tumbling Pegasus crashed on top of him. Daring to cried out in agony as her legs folded on impact. She felt sharp jabs of pain all over her body with the impact of every rocking outcropping as she started to roll down the mountain. Mercifully, everything went black. So it was moments later that Daring surfaced to a world with a dull pain. Opening her eyes, she groaned as the harsh yellow light of the morning jabbed needles to her brain. Oh, there had been some landing. Why, Fräulein Duel, still with us, I see, said a quiet, slightly accented voice. It was Hans Jägermeister. The greeting wrenched Daring back to full consciousness. She moaned again as she tried to raise her head. Every muscle ached, every bone ached. She felt like she had been run over by an entire pack of diamond dogs. She tried to speak. All she could manage was, "Brooks, Herr Brooks, why, how dutiful you to show concern for a traitor like him. I can't say I was sorry to lose him, though he was an unreliable asset." When Daring's hair took up in surprise, the Nazi agent laughed. "What, you didn't know? Oh, yes, he was working for me. You didn't think he was really just a cartographer, did you? Ha! Still, his little maps and his little letters were helpful. Up until you showed up at least. At the end, it seems, he was playing his own game." "Is he?" The Pegasus tried to stand up, only to find she couldn't move. Her legs were bound together with rough, fibrous cord in a series of loosened knots that would take forever for her to escape. She started working on them all the same, ignoring the protests of her battered limbs. "Dead? Yes, and yet you are not. An impressive specimen of your species, Daring Duel. Whatever species it might be." Jägermeister trained off leisurely. "Pegasus pony," Daring muttered. She tried to move her wings. Nothing seemed to be broken, but the feather limbs were bound just as tightly as her legs. Not that she would have been able to use them at the moment anyway. Her captor learned well from previous experience. The windows of the small, airless room were shuttered, and the door was closed tight. "Like the great moose. Fascinating. Ah, I see you have noticed your rings. I thought it would be less harmful than clipping them. And of course, if you are too troublesome, we have other, more permanent solutions." Hans smiled sincerely, patting the bolts of his pistol at his hip. "But we would very much like you to survive our trip back to Germany. We could learn much from studying you. You might even survive."